Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Mother Prabhu. On Sunday, evening, afternoon. Okay. So today we have this guest, a special speaker, and we need to know who that speaker is. So we have this KadambaKanan Prabhu. He was born and brought up in Singapore, and he moved to New Zealand 5 years ago. By profession, he's a doctor, a qualified. But his journey in Krishna consciousness started when he was 19 years. While maintaining the balance of being a doctor who was so during COVID time, so they were so busy with one of them. He still managed to help Srila Prabhupada, to help his guru, in fulfilling their desire of spreading his movement. Guru Maharaj, another information of Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj. And under his inspiration, he has established the Bhagavad culture in Singapore, and also he managed to start so many festivals in Singapore. As I say, then he's trying to balance his life, material life and spiritual life, and try to share the results of Krishna consciousness with others. And then obviously, as I said, okay. So,
God.
Welcome everyone this evening. So today, we're just 2 days more left of this auspicious month of Kartik. We understand that any little endeavor we do towards any spiritual activity we do in this month will bring us immense benefit, bring us closer to the Lord this month. So thank you all for spending this valuable time, prime time Sunday evening with us. And Krishna won't forget this. I'm sure he'll reciprocate in ways that we can spend time. So I think this is a mix of different groups of people. So some of us know each other, some of us don't. So maybe I'll just introduce myself. Prabhu already did, but maybe I'll
Again, one more time.
and then you can just go around the room, so we just know who everyone is. That's okay. So my name is KadambaKanan. My spiritual teacher is Holiness Subhav Swami Maharaj. I had the good fortune of meeting Holiness Bhakti Maharaj. And like Prabhu said, I work in South Auckland, trying to survive during these busy times. Trying to survive last year. And it's just a little bit about me. I'm originally from Singapore, grandparents are from South India. So that's about
I think most of the people know me, but I am Hare Krishna. I'm Sumit. By profession, I'm a cybersecurity architect working for New Zealand Transport Agency. I've been in New Zealand for almost 12 or 13 years, and I started my journey somewhere just like everyone else here, lost, looking for answers, and somehow one way or another way, with the grace of devotee, His Grace Shri Krishna Prabhu, who's standing just behind us, I was introduced to Krishna consciousness. It's been 5 years, and I've never felt that I'm lost anymore. I know where I'm heading and where I need to be, and how to achieve that. And that has been only possible. It has only been possible by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Lord, and wonderful devotees that we can see here. Prabhuji, Mataji there, and KadambaKanan Prabhu. So actually, hand over, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna everyone. I'll speak in Hindi. It's not that I can't speak in English,
Fine.
but I prefer Hindi. मैं न्यूजीलैंड में 14 years पहले आया. I came as a graphic designer, studied here. Graphics में बहुत काम किया मैंने. Got my residency. काम मेरा खत्म हो गया, redundancy हो गई. इसीलिए कुछ बनाने, इसलिए I'm doing all different sort of works to survive. So 2-3 कंपनियां भी शुरू की. इस दौरान 14 years में I met my life partner. I got 2 kids. हम लोग एक, I'm going to talk about this. हम लोग एक बड़े से dilemma में फंस गए थे. Our journey started. We born as a Hindu, but हमारा track off हो गया. We went off track. We actually ended up in church. right? So हम लोगों को खुदा भगवान की खोज थी. In our Hindu culture, बहुत सारे goddesses there are 33 crores goddesses. You don't know who's the right one. कौन सच्चा है किसी को नहीं पता, but हम बस ढूंढते रहते. तो हम उसी खोज में निकले थे, पर हमारा वो मकसद नहीं था. We were not like कि बस यही चाहते. It's a part of life. जैसे हम खाना खाते हैं वैसे वो भी एक part of life था. तो हम किसी दोस्त से इसी दौरान ऐसे किसी फंक्शन में मिलने गए, तो उन्होंने हमको चर्च में इनवाइट किया. तो हम लोग चर्च में गए, तो उन्होंने हमको कहा कि भाई यीशु मसीह खुदा है, ही इज द ओनली वन, यू हैव टू फॉलो हिम. तो बस हम लोग उनकी बातों में आ गए एंड वी एक्चुअली गॉट ट्रैप्ड इनटू इट. तो हम लोग इतने ट्रैप हो गए कि हमको पता ही नहीं चला हम कर क्या रहे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा था. हमारे पे प्रेयर्स बहुत हो रही थी, बहुत प्रेयर्स, अलग अलग तरह से प्रेयर्स होने लगे. हमारा माइंड डिस्टर्ब हो गया एंड वी एंडेड अप गेटिंग बैप्टाइज्ड. We got baptized without even knowing any knowledge what it does. कैसा लाइफ में ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आता है कुछ पता नहीं हमको. तो हम लोग गए उनके साथ जाने लगे, बट हमको ये लगा कि यही सच्चा है, यही दिस इज द रियल लाइफ. फिर हम लोगों के पास वो हर चीज प्रॉब्लम हम उनको बताते थे, वो प्रेयर करके हमको इन्फ्लुएंस करते थे कि नहीं बेटा ठीक हो जाएगा, दिस इज ऑल यू हैव टू डू. तो हम लोग करते गए. हमारी फर्स्ट बेटी हुई, तो वो कहते कि जो भी खुदा से मांगो, भगवान से मांगो तो वो देता है. Our child suffered a lot ever since she was born. उसके अंदर ट्यूब भी, खाना नहीं खाती थी. तो 2 साल हमने बहुत स्ट्रगल किया. फिर हमने कहा कि भाई आप कहते हो कि ये खुदा है, तो इनसे मांगो तो ये ठीक करते, तो फिर क्यों ठीक नहीं हुआ? Why we facing this so much when we actually हम लोग क्यों प्रॉब्लम्स फेस करें? अगर फेस करें तो एनर्जी क्यों नहीं आ रही? Then why you people keep saying कि यही खुदा है, यही सब कुछ करता है? Then they came our house, they took all our goddesses. वो मंदिर सब ले गए हमारे पास गीता से लेके सब कुछ था, सबके ले गए. मैं ब्राह्मण हूँ, मैं पैदाइशी ब्राह्मण हूँ. माय एंसेस्टर्स यूज्ड टू प्रीच इन टेंपल्स, दे वर प्रीस्ट इन टेंपल्स. तो हम लोग इसी दौरान चक्कर में फंस गए. मैंने पापा को किसी को कुछ नहीं बताया. फिर उन्होंने कहा क्या बैप्टिज्म का आपको पता तो है ना, ये करते क्या होता है इसमें? मैंने कहा नहीं पता है हमको. तो वी एंडेड अप फॉलोइंग व्हाट दे वर सेइंग. हम लोग बहुत ट्रैप हो गए. फिर हम लोगों ने बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स उस दौरान भी फेस की. फिर हमको वाइफ मेंटल डिप्रेशन में चलेगी बिकॉज ऑफ आवर फर्स्ट चाइल्ड. तो हम लोगों ने प्रेयर की कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा था. कहते बाइबल पढ़ो, ये फिर इधर इस चर्च में हम लोग प्रेयर करते. हमारा माइंड कुछ सही नहीं जा रहा था. फिर वी नो अ डॉक्टर who is a GP.
Nalinikant Prabhu.
So we met him he normally sees us he introduced us. He said, why don't you come to Hare Krishna? We didn't tell him anything what was going on. तो हम लोग आए उनसे मिलने. तो मिलने के बाद हम टेंपल में आए. तो जब मंदिर में आए तो उन्होंने हमारा नाम लिखवा लिया. कहता है कोई आएंगे आपके घर में, पूजा करेंगे आपसे, मतलब एक कथा पढ़ेंगे एंड यू विल फील गुड. हमने कहा ठीक है हम ये करते. प्रभु जी सुमित जी हमारे घर पे आए उस दिन. एंड आई टेल यू, मेरे दिल से मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, हमारा लाइफ चेंज हो गया है ना. हमारा लाइफ चेंज हो गया. कृष्ण ने हमको संभाल लिया. आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू हिम कि उसने हमारी वाइफ को ठीक किया, उसका मेंटल डिप्रेशन ठीक कर दिया, सिर्फ उनके एक कथा ने कि हमको सच्चा दिखा, खुदा मिला. सॉरी अबाउट दैट, पर ये हमारे जीवन का रियलिटी है. तो मैं खुश हूँ कि हमको रियल भगवान मिला, जो हमको पैदा होते हमको पता ही नहीं था हम किस दिशा जा रहे. तो आई एम थैंकफुल टू एवरीवन, थैंकफुल टू प्रभु जी के जो भगवान के नाम को लेके सच्ची बात बताते हमको, और वो छूता है मन को. ये
That's all. Next intro, little bit short.
Thank you.
I'm insurance consultant. My wife is work for NBI as a audit officer. So yeah, so far so good. We belongs to we are from Chandigarh, North India, and my kids are studying in Krishna school from last 2.5 years. So we started I had a friend who is a part of ISKCON, and then he said that there is a school and then your kids can go there and they can study there. So just fortunate to have that blessings. And from last 6 to 7 months, I'm started reading Bhagavad Gita and getting some more knowledge about it, and then other things are getting clear. And more of the, like, whenever my kids come back and they say something and they explain me actually, so that I'm becoming more and more curious to know Shri Krishna that way.
Hello everyone, my name is Kapil, and me and my wife came to New Zealand in 2012. I work as a senior business analyst with Countdown. The purpose of me coming today here is to just learn more about what good things I can do in my life, apart from just doing what we're doing to survive. I'll let Komal discuss that.
What about the hidden talent? He didn't mention a hidden talent.
Everybody has talents.
We don't know.
Yeah, actually, Kapil is a very good singer. You're right. Yeah. So
More of a professional singer.
yeah,
And
and
Kapil is
Kapil is
a
a very classical dancer. Yeah,
Oh.
actually, yeah. So we just start. Couple is singing since his college time, and I started getting it because of girls, so that we can see, and that's the only way we can connect them to our culture. Easy way to connect to our culture. Yeah, and this opportunity is very good for us, so that we meet many people and likewise minded. And yeah, and thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Madam, you came,
Yeah.
you know.
That's it is for us.
Yes, madam.
Hare Krishna everyone, my name is Krishna. Most of you know me at the temple. I think you have all seen me. So by profession I'm an analyst and an advisor. But my roots are deep. I come from South Indian Auckland. That's my mother tongue. Because of studying these kind of things. And strong believers of Shiva, so they are into Shiva. I don't know how, but from childhood I had this attraction to Krishna. That's why probably I was married into a Vaishnava family. So his take on it was like that. The first temple I visited here after I landed in New Zealand 17 years ago. So after a couple of years, I come to the temple regularly from past 2 years. So I hope I never miss one day when we can visit Krishna. So it was quite hard for me during lockdown to see him. So then I realized, yeah, Krishna is the one that actually is feeling talks to me. So as long as I'm here, I would like to serve Krishna in my life. Lovely here. Sorry, my husband couldn't be here today. So Ishan, Elisha, and Isha. Thank you very much for the Krishna.
Yes, madam.
I'm Sheila. That's my son, Victor. That's my mom, Anita. We are from supporting Fiji. We moved here about 20 years ago. And similarly, I think we became close to Krishna. I think it was actually through my son. And as you've mentioned, there are so many gods in Hinduism. When he was born, he was 3 days and they were celebrating Krishna Mashtami at Ram Mandir. So they called us and they said we need a baby to enact. Yeah. So we had to visit, we went to the baby visit middle of the night. We landed at the temple, and that was the first time we had celebrated before, just kind of, but that was the first time. And from there we ended up at the Krishna temple. Now we attend Krishna Kulam Sundays. it's just nice being, we like, for us it's been a journey. I think every single time we learn something new. And it's just nice being here and spending some time with the other devotees. Jenny?
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, I think you introduced us.
Learn more and what we now next is you taught me to chant every morning, which I continue to.
Oh. The one who has taught us is behind you. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji. आप बोले बेटर आप बोले बात ही आप
हिंदी में बात करेंगे तो हम एज अ फैमिली एक हस्बैंड विशु मदर इन लॉ कुसुम फल्लर मम्मी इस बार काफी टाइम के बाद इंडिया से हमारे पास आई बिकॉज ड्यूरिंग लॉकडाउन इट वाज सच अ गैप कि फैमिली के साथ नहीं हम लोग हो पाए सो वी आर ब्लेस्ड शी इज हियर हम लोग यहाँ पर 2016 में आए थे so it's not that long time here but प्रभु जी की कृपा से सब बहुत अच्छा रहा है हमारे साथ हमारी जर्नी बहुत अच्छी रही we got settled और लकीली हमें पता नहीं था कि हम सुमित जी के घर के इतनी पास हैं बट बात ये है कि सुमित जी हमारे घर पे आए कथा करने के लिए क्योंकि बहुत अच्छा कनेक्शन बना वैसे हम यूजुअली एवरी ईयर करवाते हैं कार्तिक मास के मंथ में एवरी ईयर हम लोग कोशिश करते हैं कि हम टाइम्स निकाल के एंड वी शुड हैव सम टाइम फॉर आवर फैमिली एंड व्होएवर फ्रेंड्स वी कैन हम उनको जिनको बुला सके वो बैठ सके हमारे साथ हम कोशिश करते हैं और हर बार लेकिन हर बार जब भी हम कथा करते हैं हमारा एक नया ही एक्सपीरियंस होता है एक नई चीज हम सीखते हैं उस कथा से और एक नई डिवोशन के साथ हम एक्चुअली इस कथा को जब भी हम फिनिश करते हैं एक नई डिवोशन के साथ फिनिश करते हैं वो एक एनर्जी लेवल हमेशा रहता है थ्रू आउट द ईयर आफ्टर दैट सो that's all our journey. We have 2 boys. अभी वो हमारे पास हमारे साथ नहीं है because क्लास थी छोटे वाले बेटे की तो बड़े वाला is taking care. तो वो घर पे हैं but we didn't want to miss it so हम लोग आए यहाँ पर. That's it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Prabhuji likes Kirtan. Big fan of Kirtan.
मैंने 2016 में जब हम आए थे तो मेरे ख्याल सबसे पहले हमने इसको टेम्पल में दर्शन के लिए गए थे क्योंकि हम दिल्ली में पंजाबी बाग के पास रहते तो वहाँ बहुत रेगुलर जाते थे यहाँ पर भी रेगुलर जाते थे लेकिन जैसे वो आप प्रभु से मांगते और जब पूरा होता है तो फिर आप भूलना शुरू हो जाते हो तो फिर बिजी हो जाते हो मतलब जिस तरह रियलिटी में आप थोड़ा सा कम हो गया लेकिन अभी आप बहुत लकी है कि सुमित प्रभु हमारे घर के पास रहते हैं जस्ट 5 मिनट के ड्राइव पे या वॉक पे कर लिया तो मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा मैंने प्रभु के यहाँ पे फर्स्ट टाइम कीर्तन सुना था तो डॉक्टर तब से आना शुरू हुए तो काफी जगह जाते हैं मंदिर भी बसते
Last but not least, उत्तर प्रभु स्पॉटलाइट पे डाला.
Hare Krishna everyone. Me with our comrade is my wife Shreya. So we both couldn't join you guys there because we live in Hamilton and we're trying to pack our bags going to India after 4 years. So sorry for not being there, but thank you so much Prabhu for sending the link. We are very glad to attend this program online. So I came to New Zealand in 2015 and then for studies and then I stayed back. And then I got introduced to ISKCON via one of the devotees who I called Ravi Kaka. So we had a Narasimha Jayanti program and where I met Sumit Prabhu. And after that, thank you to him that he stayed in contact. And so now we are doing our Bhagavad Gita class with him regularly. and we are definitely having some good experience. And yeah, we can't complain about our journey because it's always been good and we are improving all the time. So thank you so much, and Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you, Manaji. Now let's turn towards the speaker.
Everyone knows Hare Krishna.
I think
Is there anyone who doesn't?
you would be the right person to speak about things because I can't speak too much.
Thank you all for sharing something about yourself. So, yeah, as we go on today, it's just a short introduction to the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. A lot of things that we shared would probably come up in the slides you might be able to. Today, very short. Like a lot of you probably know I'm not talking. We'll speak on, but I'm sure you'll be able to take back something. That's something. So some Kirtan, or we'll have a Damodar. Yeah.
Something that was quite common, we can all relate to. Life in today's world. We're all trying to survive, trying to get by. We have mentioned surviving. That's all of us trying to juggle many things. Work, children, paying bills. Life just, you just run through life. There's no time to think. Hardly any time to stop, and sometimes even having a meal with the whole family can be difficult to some people. Everyone's working different shifts. You don't even see your spouse or your children. Work shifts and you miss each other maybe once or twice a week. You all sit down and have a meal together. So this is today's world. You're just running, with no time to think about things. Just the next day, next thing that needs to be done. So this is our life. Take birth, we grow up, we play, we don't know what's happening. When we're young, we just enjoy ourselves. And then we study, we need to work, we need to go, they tell us we need to go to university and study to have a good job, but that's not always necessary. So yeah, then after you get a job, for an Indian family, they keep asking you to get married. You get married, and then your whole 10, 30, 40 years working for the family. In Indian families, we always plan a lot in advance for the children's future, the children's education, the children's wedding. And then you retire, and then grandchildren, great-grandchildren. You're busy with that, and some grandparents are still shuttling grandchildren around. It never ends. And then the next thing you know, game over. And then again, back to the next round again. So Shankaracharya sings, Punarapi Javanas, Punarapi Mama. Again, taking birth, again, dying, taking birth in another mother's womb. Again and again. So we're just going through this circle. And again, we have no time to think, we're just running through. So at some point, we need to stop and think, ask some questions. Is there more to life? Is that all there is to life? You take birth, work, study, work hard, have a family, look after your kids, provide for your kids, have grandchildren. Life's over, and then again. Is that all there is to life? Was there something more to life? So these are some questions that in this world we're just running, we don't have time to think. Unless something happens, then sometimes we stop. Like Prabhu was asking this question. I don't understand Hindi, but I've got the gist of what he was saying. So I think at some point you're asking, why is this happening? And so not everyone asks this. Sometimes we're just busy just trying to catch up with things that are going on, surviving basically. We don't have have time to think about these things. That's part of it. It's a nice phone. Anyone have this phone? So you know what it is. You know its value and what its purpose is, what its function. So someone who doesn't know what this is, someone from the village, who sees this lying on the floor for some reason, he sees this lying on the floor in the village. And he looks at it, he has no clue, he's never seen a smartphone. He takes it up and it looks like a brick. So he brings it back home. He sees a nail sticking out of the floor. Not good. After that, he sees a table that's a bit lopsided, so he puts the phone underneath the table. Because it's quite useful too. He's using it for all sorts of things. And then someone comes, his friend from the city comes and he says, "What's this under your table?" I found this. Quite useful for the hand to and with the nail in, holding the table. Great. Have a look at it. What it says. Latest iPhone 14. So what? Let me explain. So now this is very valuable, and this is just a material thing. It's this, how valuable is this? Is there a cost that you can put in this? Is there a price? Now iPhone has a price. This is price. So you need to be a this so priceless. It's not just valuable, it's also very rare. So you'd have all heard of this 8.4 million species of life. You're reading about this in discussing. So 8,400,000 species. And human species, only about 400,000. So many other living entities are there. So what is our chances? How rare is it that we're taking this human birth? So many other living entities out there. Plants, insects, animals, aquatic, birds. So there's so many species, and we're rotating through all these species, and now we're in this human form of life. So how rare is that human? So should we know? We should ask some questions, just like the person with the iPhone, he doesn't know what the value is. We should try to understand what is the value of it. And knowing what this is, so we understand this body is valuable and it's rare. How do we use it? So that guy, when he was using it as a hammer, he was using it to stabilize his table. And then someone came along and told him, this is not what we use for it. And like a laptop or a Windows laptop, there's so many different shortcuts. I've maybe 0.5% of it. And so we can do it on our own. We can go and try to figure out if I press this button, what happens? If I press that button. And we can slowly try to figure out. But the person who wrote that program, he'll know exactly all the different shortcuts there are. And he would have written a guide. And if you read that guide, you know exactly what all the time. Similarly, if we go and where do you get it from? You're going to get it from straight from Apple. So not some other film, because they're the guys who created it, they'll know exactly what we do. So we might just be making calls, surfing the internet, might be able to control your TV with it, control your car with it, so many things you can do with it. And you won't know unless you've got someone who's given you an official guide. Then you can make full use of that particular object. And if you don't follow the manual, if you just decide to just do, let's try it out, why read a manual or just jump in? It could end up being, consequences can be quite, so even for material objects, everything is created with a purpose behind. The creator has got a purpose, and he's got a manual on how to use it. You can use it the wrong way, but you won't get the full benefit of that particular device or that creation. So you can see where it's going. Now, is there any difference between, or if one's a human being, the other one is a different species? So, looks like there are definitely lots of differences, right? But if we analyze it from the eyes of the scriptures, we look at the activities of these two individuals, the human being and an animal. They are both happy. Yes. Yes. And what is their happiness made of? Eating? Do we eat? The animals they eat? So makes them happy. Sleeping. Like sleeping. So we sleep on a nice mattress, expensive house, nice new house like this. Whereas the animals, they just sleep out in the open, in the forest. But the quality of sleeping is the same. They both enjoy the sleep. And defending. The animals, they like to defend their territories, they're always fighting. And we're also fighting within our house. Or sometimes with the neighbor, within our community, within our religion, within countries. So this is to say that defending mentality. Once we were in Bhubaneswar, and we were going to the temple, the ISKCON temple, and we were staying like maybe 5 minutes walk in a residential area. We had to wake up at 3, 4 o'clock to go for Mangalati. Me, my wife, and the kids, we were all terrified of dogs. And we thought at 4 o'clock, which dog was going to be okay. So we got up and there were a pack of dogs barking the minute we came out of the guest house. And then we walked all the way to that corner, the junction. The minute we crossed over, this pack of dogs stopped barking at us. Then there was another pack of dogs from the next street onwards. So they're all defending, each one's got its own territory. So this is similar to human beings and friends. And enlightenment, which is mating. So it's not just us. So we get married, have kids. And it's also, animals do the same thing. So in a sense, we're all doing, if we analyze all our activities, our daily activities, what are we earning so much money for? For one of these things, eating, sleeping, mating, our children, we're looking after our children, defending, we're protecting our family, we're protecting our children. So all these things are pretty much similar, just a different degree. So this is from the scripture.
Translation: eating, sleeping, mating, and defense. These 4 principles are common to both human beings and animals. The distinction between human life and animal is humans have the ability to inquire, who am I? Who is God? What is this world? Why am I suffering? Which animals laugh?
So that's the difference. We have the ability to ask these questions, right? The animals, they don't have the intelligence to ask these questions. Why am I in the man's body? Why am I in the human body? Why is the dog in the dog's body? The dog can't ask things. I'm a dog. For us, we're not like that. We should have some of these thoughts. We should be able to inquire about these things, and that makes us some different. So that's one purpose of this sheet. So this body is compared to a machine. This is given in Bhagavad Gita. Ishvara sarva bhutana bhuteshvara. Anyone to
Supreme God is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy.
So there is, like the iPhone, there's also a machine. And the machine has a creator. The iPhone is a creator, a machine like this should naturally have a creator. Now, who is the creator? Krishna says. You can just read the translation. Krishna can understand.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am seed with the Father.
So Krishna is the Father, Krishna is the creator. And the creator has written a perfect manual. And using this manual, we can understand the full potential. We can make use of the full potential of this human body. If not, we'll be using it for all the wrong things, like how that use iPhone to hammer nails. So Krishna has written the perfect manual for us, so we can understand the full potential of this mission. In many lessons, the Bhagavad Gita is the 5 main topics that Bhagavad Gita covers. Who am I? Who is God? What is the material world and material nature? How do we interact with material nature? It's karma. And what is time? So this is not going to be a summary of Bhagavad Gita, just one aspect. Now, who am I? Many of you have already read Bhagavad Gita, so you probably already know this. Anyone like to read Sanskrit? Translation.
As an embodied soul continually passes in this body from one old to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body and death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change.
So we think we might be this body, but the body is changing. We have a baby's body, a youth, an adult's body, and an old man's body. As the body is changing, there's something that doesn't change. And that, here Krishna explains that is the soul that doesn't change. So we're not this body, but we're the soul within the body. The body is changing, and then you get another body, but the soul is that constant, doesn't change. This is from an example. Let me show you. Bird of the cage and the bird in the cage. So this body is like the cage. And you see this guy is taking care of the cage. He's polishing it, dusting it every day. And that's what we're doing. We're taking care of this body very well. But inside the body, inside the cage, there's a bird. And he's ignored the bird. He didn't feed the bird. He forgot about the bird. Eventually, what happens? The bird dies. But what we need to realize is we are the soul. The soul is like the bird in the cage. And the cage is this body. So all this time, we're doing all sorts of things for the body. Working hard, giving food to the body, getting nice clothes, makeup, hair, nice hair, decorate yourself. We do so many things for the body. But what are we doing for the soul? Not too much. So therefore, then the soul is actually being starved. You want some happiness. We're doing so many things thinking we'll be happy. Going out, watching movies, playing games, alcohol, drugs, so many things thinking that we'll be happy. But we can't be happy because the bird in the cage is not happy. We don't know what the bird wants. We think that the cage likes all this, but the cage is not the only thing. There's a bird in the cage. And we're starved with the he can never be happy.
That's the question. When you talk about soul, then you just said that soul is permanent forever. Like
Yes.
then why there is birth and death? Why a human is born and why he dies? Why can't he be constant like a soul? When soul stays and it carries, it transforms in other different bodies or wherever it travels. So why there is birth and death when soul is there forever?
Your body, I mean, if you get your clothes grow old, it becomes torn, tattered. So how long can you live with body? More than 100 years. It's miserable. You can't keep anything that's material will slowly deteriorate over time. That's material. Nothing lasts forever, except the soul. So that's the problem. We want something permanent, right? Want some permanent happiness. You don't want this little temporary happiness. You buy something, you feel happy, eat something. The soul is permanent. It wants permanent happiness. That's why you're asking, why can I live forever? You can live forever, but not in this world. It's spiritual. So that's why the soul wants unending happiness. It doesn't want a little bit of flickering happiness. It wants unlimited happiness, which can't be found. And so that's what the soul wants. Soul wants eternal happiness, wants eternal life. Something here that might explain that. So the different cages. Put it into perspective. If you're renting a house, there are different kinds of houses you can rent. That one.
That's right.
So this probably would cost the most, one of these two. Probably some villa in Fiji. Or this one. So these are going to cost a lot. And then this might be a lot cheaper in terms of rent. So depending on the ability to pay rent, which means depending on your car park, depending on the amount that you can pay, what rent you can pay, you get different kinds of housing. And when the tenancy finishes, you can't say, can I stay for another extra week? Can I stay for another extra month? Tenancy finishes, you have to leave. And then the minute you leave, you need to find another house, another place to rent. And again, that depends on your ability to pay the rent, how much rent. And that is your karma. So depending on your karma, you can get a big house like that. Time's up, you need to leave this body, then depending on what your karma is, you get another kind of body. And eventually, so what kind of body or what kind of house you get next depends on. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. One like to read the Sanskrit. Only translation. Translation. Oh, would you like to read?
Whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits his body, state he will attain without fail.
So depending on what a person remembers, then he gets the next body according to that. So that explains why one person might have, why one person was born. Example was like, the Indians, they're always against the Pakistani. Always thinking. So someone's always thinking about the Pakistani, and then he leaves his body, and then he might take birth in Pakistan, because that's what he was thinking of at the time of death when he's leaving the body. In a simplified sense. So in every species of life, doesn't matter which house you live in, even if it's the best house that one day, it's going to be the same thing. Birth, death, old age. This is not going to change in every house. So a smart thing would be to get out. I mean, the was talking about how you wanted eternal happiness. You can't be happy if you're going to keep going through the cycle again and again and again. So what's the way to get out of this cycle? So anyone like to read the translation? What?
When whoever at the end of his life, his body, remembering me alone at once against my nature. Of this there is fruit.
Previously, we heard that whatever you think of, that state you attain, and that keeps you bound in the cycle of birth and death. Then, if you think of Krishna at the time of death, then go back to your eternal house. You don't have to keep paying rent, buy your own house, and that's the permanent home in Golok Vrindavan, in the spiritual world. But it's eternal happiness. Now, how do we do this? So, how do we remember Krishna? Because that's aim, right? Remember Krishna at the end of life, and then you break away from the cycle and go back. So, how do we remember Krishna? Can we do whatever we want and expect to remember Krishna at the time of death? Does it require some practice? If it does, then what kind of practice? How often do we practice it? Once a week, once a month when we come to the temple? Just to give an example of, do you know when we're going to leave this body? So we don't know when we're going to leave, but we need to know that we need to think of Krishna when we leave our body. So how are we going to? You don't know when you're going to leave your body, but yeah.
Astrology is still there. Astrology, yeah. You can predict your future life. It's not exactly, but tells you some kind of pharmacologist or so I'm not sure this this. Astrology can predict a little bit. When someone born weaker it says like what was your past and then. So is it like Bhagavad Gita also explains somewhere like how they can predict the past life and the future, like there are certain kinds like astrology after event.
Astrology can tell you that you might live for this many years, but it's not going to tell you the exact time we'll get here. And that's what, because that's the time where you need to remember Krishna, and that's important. So we need to know the exact time, 6, 1. It's not possible. So the only way we can do that is we're constantly thinking of Krishna because we don't know when we're going to be born. So every moment if you think about Krishna, then sort of confident that at that moment. There's an example of it's a real story of Sadhu went to visit somewhere in Mumbai. He went to visit his disciple's father, who was lying in his bed with basket, going to be born. So he invited the Sadhu to please come and bless my father. Heard this before? Oh, you just smiled. So the Sadhu went, and the man was lying in his bed. He couldn't see very well, so he knew that someone in saffron had come, so he called the person over. So the Sadhu went, leaned over, and then the person, that old man, asked him a question. Sadhus, they tend to go to a lot of places. Like people only remember sadhus, this kind of things happen. I'll come back to my father is going to ask. So he's been to many of these places, but he was asked a question that he's never been asked before. So he leaned over to ask, to hear what the man was asking. He was very weak, so he asked in Hindi. In English, he said, "What is the price of rubber?" He asked me a spiritual question, asked me to bless you, pray for you. What's the price of rubber? Why would I? And what does it make to you? Your deathbed. Just surprised, and then the son could see that surprised look on the Sadhu's face. So he called the Sadhu aside and said, "Actually, my father was a tire trader his whole life. So the price of rubber was very important because it would affect the price of tires, and then he decided whether he can buy tires, sell tires. So he's doing that his whole life, and at the end of life, he's still thinking about rubber. So if he left his body thinking about rubber, he'd become a rubber tree. maybe an insect in the rubber tree. So it's just an example of what we're doing every day. That's what's going to come to us at the time of death. We can't try to cheat and say, I'll do what I want. At the time of death, I will suddenly remember. That's what we've got to put in somewhere. So it's very important that we try to somehow or other remember Krishna through the day, and that's very difficult. Now, you can remember someone if you're married, or just before you get married, if you're in love with someone, and you're thinking of that person every day, right? Then you're constantly remembering that person. Once you get married, the person's in the house. So you don't think when you got married, you're always thinking of that person. It's because you have love for this person, you've developed some love for this person, so you constantly thinking. So that brings us to the goal of human life. Purpose is to actually reawaken that love for Krishna. Because you love Krishna, then constantly somehow or other you'll be thinking about Krishna. The question is how to reawaken this dormant love for Krishna. This love for Krishna is not just in the heart of Indian devotee or Hindu devotee. It's in the heart of everyone, all living entities. But it just needs to be reawakened. And how do you do that? How do you reawaken that love? Dormant? So there are many ways to do it. In different yugas, there are different methods for that. So we're familiar with the 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And we're currently in So whatever in Satya Yuga, the process of reawakening this love for Krishna was by doing meditation, one-pointed contemplative meditation. So you have to go to the forest, stand on one leg, stand at the tip of your nose, 10,000 years, 20,000 years in Satya Yuga. In Treta Yuga, the process of reawakening our love for God was by doing yajna. We have described the Ashwamedha yajna 2 days ago. It's no one in this world, if you put all the wealth together in this world, nobody can afford to do this. Even if you had the wealth, you won't get the brahmanas, suitable ingredients. So it's basically impossible to do that kind of work. Then how about doing deity worship in Dwapara? So we had to spend like 10 hours a day just doing deity worship. It's going to go after work, it's going to put food on the table, it's not supposed to look after the children, it's not practical. So in this yuga, simply by chanting the name of God Hari, that will reawaken our dormant love for Krishna. In another quote from Bhagavad Gita, Harinam Harinam Harinama So there's no other way to reawaken, no other simple process to reawaken. So chanting the holy name is not just in our spiritual tradition, all spiritual traditions focus on chanting the holy name. Whether it's the Christians, when you are for them, did you actually no. But it was important to the name or like
Yeah, I mean, what their belief is that Lord Jesus is the only God. Rest, there's no other God on this planet. And if you believe in, you get the, they set you free. That's all the whole purpose of being a Christian and what they are trying to get people into it. And saying that Hinduism is not the right thing, which is what conflicted me. But at that time, it was like a different phenomena that was going in our brains due to the prayers that they do.
I mean, I feel like they chant the rosary, beads. And then the Muslims also, they've got some beads that they chant with. So the holy name is a focus in all different. So, which name of God to chant? It says in Kali Yuga, it's chanting the name of God Hari. Hari has lots of names. Which names to chant? So you go to pharmacy, there are lots of medication, they're all medication. But there's a particular symptom that you have, and you want that medication for that particular. You have toothache, you're not going to take a high blood pressure medication. You need to take the right medication. So which medication, which name of Krishna to chant? They're all valid, but there's one particular one that's specific for the symptom. But depending on the symptom, so this is the symptom of Kali Yuga, and that's given in the symptoms. And there is a particular prescription for that. So this is the paracetamol for Kali Yuga. So Lord Brahma, we all know the secondary creator of this world. And Narada with all methods in him in some movies portrayed in it. But Narada Muni's only purpose, his name is very significant. Narada, Nara means Narayan. Da is the Rati who gives Narada. So whatever he does, it seems funny, it seems like he's getting people in trouble. But at the end, he's always giving. That's what he does. And he's always very compassionate. He's always thinking how he can help all the people. He wants to give everyone Bhakti. That's what his name is. So how can he give Bhakti? And he thought about us in Kali Yuga. Because he can see the future. The Trikala. And he's thinking, he's telling Lord Brahma, where did Lord Brahma get his knowledge from? Brahma got his knowledge from initially. So could anyone know better than Lord Brahma? No, he got it from Krishna himself. That's perfect knowledge. Nobody else can get better knowledge. Now when his son went to him and asked him, yeah, I want to help everyone. But now these people in Kali Yuga, it's so difficult to help them. Looking at them, they can't do all these things. They're going to the forest, meditation, yajnas. So what is the solution for them? Lord Brahma, he says, Iti soda shakandam kali kalmashanashamam napa parakarupaya sarva devesh shute. So that's all he knows all the scriptures. He agreed that he's got perfect knowledge. And he said, I've looked through all these scriptures and I cannot find any other better process for the people of Kali Yuga other than chanting this Soda Nam Nam. The 16-word mantra. Mantra can be school. We call it 16-word mantra. And Lord Brahma says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, 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 Rama. Hari Shankar. So Brahma, the creator, he agreed with the best, no one else had more work. And he is telling Narada. So that's the simple process of chanting. Now this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra can be done in two ways. It can be done in beats by ourselves individually. And it can also be done together as a group, like how we did. And you can see again, we discussed that this is not meant for any group of people. It's not sectarian. It's not for Indians, Hindus, for anyone, not just for human beings. It's for all living entities. Because their love for God is in everyone's heart. But we're different from the living entities that we discussed. But a chance to take out this process. And like you see here, not too many other than the founder of this movement, Prabhu. Other than him, there are not many other beings in most parts of the world. So, what happened? Please. So this is not, by any way, summary of the Bhagavad Gita. It's just one facet of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. very simplified, so I'm sure there's a lot of details that aren't there, but just to give you a rough idea. And as time goes on, if you're interested, find out more. So, quick quiz. If you get all this right, then we get the song. Go on for another half an hour. Go to so, for the human life is rare. What is a real identity? What is a user manual for this body? This body is like a machine. And what's the purpose or goal of our life? You don't love your family, love yourself. So if you develop love for Krishna, then automatically you develop love for all living entities, not just your family, but everyone else's family. All living entities. And what is the prescribed method for developing love for Krishna in the study of them? Oh, so that's the brief introduction. Is there any questions on that? If not, this is a really big topic. It's not that it hasn't over time. And you need to.
Any question? Ask any question. Let's take him in trouble.
All time.
Okay.
Are you saying that most of the Krishna consciousness
It's all about consciousness. So miseries will still come. We're still grow old, we're still dying. That's not going to change. But we can understand, once you have knowledge, then you see things from the right perspective. You read Bhagavad Gita, you understand karma, that we're suffering, why. It's not without any reason. Then there's also a way to reduce misery. Process of chanting Hare Krishna can get rid of all misery. If you were meant to suffer so much, Krishna desires to change that suffering into some token suffering, and then you're talking about charts, astrology. So it says if Krishna wants, he can change all that. So a devotee, if you're worshipping Krishna, those charts are changing all the time. So if you see a person today, he might tell you this is your astrological chart. But that's at this moment right now. So from here you go attention. 5 years down the road, you practice the Krishna consciousness. You go back to see him, suddenly things might change. Krishna can just wipe off things if he wants. And if he doesn't, that's fine. These are small, we're not worried about this. Our main goal is at the time of death. Otherwise, anyone else? Share something, Prabhu, say something on the points about suffering.
Just complete.
So I asked the question I got from her. I still, Krishna got different swarup, right? You can see as a Vishnu avatar, then there is a 10 different avatars. He worshipped Krishna. If someone worships Krishna, I know it's very What is the difference? Or you do the same thing because end of the day God is same. I do want some answer partially, but if you can make a little bit more clarity.
Recorded and he resides in the local environment. And from there, the different layers of planets. So he's got his own planet up right on top. And all his different incarnations, expansions, they have got different planets. So depending on your particular inclination, you might have you like to worship. And there's nothing wrong with that. And at the time of death, if you remember on that, you attain Vishnu support, which is in the spiritual world, there's no. But it's just in terms of, again, it's a discussion. But in terms of relationship, so you've got your family, you've got different relationship with your wife. There's a certain amount, there's some relationship with your children, will be a little. In India, you've got servants, drivers, relationship with them is good. But you get a little bit of some relish from that relationship, but a different kind. So with your wife, it's different, with your children, with your relatives, with your colleagues at work. So it's all a different kind of feeling that you get, kind of happiness you get. So it's like that, the different kinds of relationships with God. It's not that, so the relationship with your wife would definitely, you think that's a deeper relationship than a relationship with your children or with your colleague. It doesn't mean the relationship with your children isn't important. So for different people, they might have worship God in different ways. They worship Krishna and Vishnu with awe and reverence. They go to planet Vishnu, and that's also the spiritual. Of course, the highest rasa is the highest taste that you get in the relationship. That's
why Nansen can do things. Okay, can do things. He gave the gift. He gave the gift. He gave the gift. And you are enjoying. Otherwise, my wife, when she gave me Samsung, I just sold it in 2 days. Because I want an iPhone. Same way, what do you want? You want a hybrid or you just want?
not bad discussion there for now.
It's all about your bhakti and your like Isla Dhanam. I think everyone understands Hindi. Is it? No, it's not about yeah, it's all about the previous birth. So what you have done and what kind of bhakti you have done. That's how you get close to your God and how you get find in your next when you born your new body. That's how you adopt something automatically. Say, see, this kid have a natural thing on it. This is not a natural. This is all from his back. That's how he's connected. That's how he's attached to the God. That's few things like one Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, and that's how get people attached. To like some people say, I love to say Jai Sri Ram. It's same. There's no difference. But it depends all of the bhakti done. That's I think it's all about the background, so how you get attached to God and you get the effort to say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. So I think that's what I'm thinking. It's really very big topic, but
So what that was one what you talking about is so you've done some pious, some bhakti in your previous life. So some people they come and they just so quickly they take it out. But then how about those who haven't done anything in their past life? Does that mean they just condemned for life? What happens to them? They need to start somewhere. Yes. And so this is that's why we're doing this. We're going out, chanting on the streets, Bhagavad Gita, if you read Bhagavad Gita. So if you haven't started, if you haven't got that, you're starting now. And those who've already had it the previous life, they take to it very fast. And those who haven't, that's why we're doing this, because we're coming together, we're discussing and reading Bhagavad Gita. Some point start. There's nothing to stop you from perfecting your life in this life itself. We don't have to, take another birth to continue. I can only do this stuff. Krishna has given everything, he didn't hold back. He said, this is the entire, given the Bhagavad Gita, remember me at the time of death. So it's up to us how much we want to do. Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Take your rest. If there no further questions, thank you so much, Prabhu. Bye. Or one more thing.